Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Smith of Smiths of the Black, and we're coming into a new month. All sorts of fun. And let me blow this chart up. The SPY. So we've known that we've had a tight range, and we'll go to that in monthly. Let me blow this up for you. SPY, nice broadening formation you got there. Chunk of the out, and get. We'll get to that in a second. But when we go to the monthlies here, we did close out slightly to the upside. Now we know we got an inside year cooking. That's a problem. But did, in the end, when things went back and forth, we're closer to taking this out. Once again, we're talking all year. You got to take that out, or you got to take that out. You are closer to 2 and up on the month. That's good. You got the Fed coming. You got jobless claims. You got a new month, all that kind of stuff. But you are closer to 2 up. And so if you go down to like shorter term stuff, there's your 30. How about your 15er? End of the day. Take them right back up. If you go to your daily, 2-2 reversal back through previous range. All right, is that what we're seeing? We are totally good. Like I said, we're just coming into a new month, new week, Fed, all that kind of stuff. So far, a lot of things closer to going 2 up. Now, there are not a lot of reversals. There are a lot of continuations. Oh, Qs, really? Beautiful, right there. So Qs. Monthly, Momo Hammer. So slightly trying to go 3-2-2 and keep ripping here and going after these guys, right? Because we know the Qs have pretty much been the strength out of the broader averages for the, better most of this year, or pretty much all this year. Dow Jones Diamonds did go 2-2 on the month. There was a lot of shoppage in there, though, what did not make it easy, right? And so if you go to the daily, there again was your 2-2 reversal here coming back to this previous range. So, we'll see how all that goes. Small capper's still your loser. And, came up a little bit with these guys. But if you go to the monthly, inside month, look at all this stuff. How are you going to get out of there? How are you going to get out of there? And so, we've talked about this from the beginning of the year. That you've got a lot of inside years. How are you going to resolve this? So Fed, jobless claims, and so another thing that we do here is we're going to be looking for the scans, and I talk about that a lot. Let me pull this up. Sorry, had some tech issues, but I can bring them up. So we've got some more fun for you at the end of this one, because usually I'm just going to blast through here and say. Doing nothing, but we got some new things coming down the pipe. Okay, log in here to the scans, because that's important, because you'll hear me talk about, how many things are 2 up, how many things are 2 down, right? And we also have signals like 2-1-2s and all that kind of stuff, but as we come into, a new month, week, all that kind of stuff, and like TC2000, my scans will always be like, who's taking out last month's highs? Who's taking out last month's lows? Who's taking out the weeks and all that kind of stuff? And every day we're going back and forth on that and saying, okay, today who's doing this? And that's why you hear me talk about 2-2 on a Tuesday and all that kind of stuff. But Tuesday is always like the second, it's the second day of the week, depending if there's a holiday. What that tells us, do we have a continuation or a reversal? And that's why when we start off a new month, we want to see how this new week plays out, and then next week, does it all confirm or negate, or what does it do? If we go to the big boys, Apple. So Apple, still coming up here, 2 up on the month, and we've been watching this baby for a while. Don't trade it, just own it. I'm like, no, trade it. And so on the weekly, much closer to a 2 up, and that's why we want to look at these things as they continue up here and say, like, well, Apple's been higher, and it's also made the slight lower low. Boom, get it. Go to new highs. But, we'll see, let them open, all that kind of stuff. So, XLP, and I know it's boring, certainly had a nice little 3-2 monther. A lot of that stuff over there, General Mills, all that kind of stuff going back into the highs after the 2-2 months. But like I said, new month. Let's not get too excited over too much here, right? Because you've got a lot of things doing nothing. You got your XLE, which is last year, energy. Doji right in the middle of all that. You've got the financials, FAS. Right? And we've got the Fed coming out, but man, how are you not going to be an inside month of that? Look at this. Look at all these months stuck inside of here. Like, it's holding support. I'm like, maybe it is. You can take out these highs? Probably none time soon. But we'll see what the Fed has to say about that. So if we can go to some of the, everybody likes to trade the tech because the Qs have been the strongest. So we go to SMH here, inside month. Now, can you take that out? Because that could get the Qs going. And you're going to start off as a weekly hammer counter shooter. So that could be interesting. It's AMD. You get some distance on these months. There's a hammer in AMD, all that kind of stuff. And we'll look at all the big boys like NVIDIA and stuff like that that's, been going sideways for a month. But these things could help propel the Qs that we know have already been stronger, right? And if you go to XLK, that's going to be your Apple, and that's going to be your Microsoft, still skirting the highs, all right? Let's go to Microsoft. Obviously a gapper, but then gap and hold, right? So when people are like, well, it gapped and then did nothing, I'm like, keep it on the radar. Keep it on the radar. And we're going to be doing a lot of gap analysis going forward because, you'll hear me talk about watching the 30/60s as well as keeping a gapper on your watch list for the rest of the day or the rest of the week because, people always, listen to the strat and say, well, there's so many things to do. And I'm like, okay, well, here's, have a watch list. Is it going to be all the Dow stocks? Is it going to be just the gappers and stuff like that? Microsoft holds, right? And if that works, that's going to help your XLK, which it did, right? So you always want to know, and I think we talked about this in the research with Rob, all the relationships. What is Microsoft in? Is it in the XLK with Apple that are both going up? It is. Did they triangulate out? Sure did. And so, we'll stay in all that kind of stuff. And, always want to go to Tezslers. Triangle layout and coming back through here to see if we can come after this gap. Now, on the monthly basis, here, how are you going to turn that around? It's not going to be easy, but if you're going to do it, a lot of weekly hammers with a lot of comebacks, with the slight lower lows here, like so, to see if it starts to hammer to come back to start off the new month and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to throw a couple of these things in here. I'm not going to get too gung-ho. Going to let them open, do those scans. And Palo Alto, monthly, trying to come back through here. So if things start to fail, you've got that. And somewhat to a certain extent, you got John Deere. John Deere trying to come back through there in CAT. But we'll let them open and go after these things. So another thing we want to do here is that, I've talked all year about an inside year. Oh boy, Rob, you really going to do that? I'm like, I'm going to do that. Let's get to crypto, boys and girls. So I know I'm just new working with the TrendSpider software, but you can see they've got the 2 ups, 2 downs, all that kind of stuff. And as we come into the new week, and we know that it doesn't close, but starting off as an inside week, but the real volatility's been over there. If you go to like the 60, you can see what a weekend looks like in here. Ow, oops, sorry. I'm just getting used to having all this stuff. Where's my cursor? Come on, boy. There we go. But we want to watch, when people ask me about the strat, anything that moves, right? And crypto's been moving around. You just got to wait for it, just like anything else. Now, we don't have as much evidence because Bitcoin and stuff like that's going to be pretty much dependent on what it's doing. And that's why we like the stocks, because you have the sectors, the ETFs, and all that kind of stuff in the futures. However, the moves can be pretty big here. And, that's what we've really been seeing here. And then, not a big fave of mine, but Rob, you take requests? Of course I do. So we can look at FX too. So UUP in the dollar here, monthly, doing nothing, right? Stuck in here, all that kind of stuff. But we're going to be watching all these pairs and stuff like that, see if anything happens. FX a euro, Not a lot of volume in this thing, but would be rev strat weak to the downside, right? So that tells you can look at your Euro USD. So I'm not a fan of shorting things at $1.10, and but I know that a lot of people like that FX leverage. And so just like watching the SPX versus the ES versus the SPY, you can watch some of these these pairs versus some of the ETFs that too. They all would line that up. So USD. All right, Yenner, how you doing, buddy? All right, no outside weaker, so we'll see. But if you've been with me during the day, I go around the horn and look at all the all the stocks and the ETFs and stuff like that. But it's not that hard to just gun through some of this stuff, and like I said, I take requests. So we want to go where the action is. It certainly has been the NASDAQ, and it certainly has been crypto so far this year. New month coming. But a lot of things coming down the pike where we're going to watch everything, because I get that question all the time. Does it work in everything? Works in everything because it has to, because it's impossible to not be a 1, 2, or 3 and have continuity. And because of outside bars, we know that there's broadening formation. So we'll stay on that. And, here, daily. Happy Sunday to you. Boom. There you go. So we'll stay on all that kind of stuff because we want to accommodate what everybody's trading. I know everybody's got different size accounts. I know that people are watching a bunch of different things, and I can say, okay, get in here on XYZ that's booking or whatever that's trading $2,000 a share. Nobody's going to do that. As well as watching the options, and we're hopefully going to be teaming up and talking with the Nadex exchange, which does a lot of binary options. So just like there's so many options right now that expire every day, we'll have things that expire every hour, and then we can look for those 30-60 setups and go after them right there. So we're going to have a few other things coming down the pike. So on that note, 'tis a new month, Fed coming, jobless claims, and we'll be watching a lot more things. So on that note, everybody have a great rest of the weekend. We'll see you bright and early in the morning. I'm Rob Smith, Smith the Black, with the Weekend Vid.